Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the summer camp workshop coach training, as different than the social and build coach training, which some of you will also be participating in on Thursday. In this next section, I refer to social coaches, and I really mean workshop coaches. So please ignore the reference to social coaches. Just haven't changed the name on it yet. So it's the same group for camp 1, 2, and 3. I'll fix it. Thanks for asking. Okay, Mickey.
Yes, ma'am.
Your turn.
So the important thing for the
you might want
coaches.
to introduce yourself, Mickey.
Right.
For the new
Hi,
people.
I'm Mickey Sarquist, retired from Miami University in Ohio, chemist. So we're going to study water. We're going to investigate water, the surface tension primarily of water. And there are 4 challenges, each of which have smaller sub-activities that we'll do. The important thing that you need to do is communicate with the other coaches in your room before you start. Share the workload, because the most successful ones in the past 2 sessions have been where the coaches helped each other, not just one person doing all of it. And that way the campers were drawn in and really got engaged, and that's critical. The campers need to see you guys as their role models that they aspire to becoming. So please work with each other, work out a plan, and share the responsibility. That's it. The one bit of information, that's the only thing you take away, is the most important. Number 2 is I went through and updated all the materials so that you saw Dr. Mimi posted that long list for the water. Really, the most important things are the first 2 documents. One of them is a memo to Camp 3 coaches. And that memo walks you through the key things and what you need to make sure you download and have viewed and feel comfortable with. And again, talk to each other, because the coaches that have been in this before can help you all out. So in the coaching notes, you're going to see that there's an editable, anyway, a version of PowerPoint that you can modify to make it be what you want. It allows you to run through the PowerPoint slides if you wish to show them. And your team, your coaching team, needs to make that decision. Some of the best ones use the slides where they felt appropriate. They didn't necessarily use every slide the entire way through. So it's there for you. I did coaching notes on the side that hopefully will help you out. But the campers want to interact with you, so put yourself into it and feel free to communicate with them. And those of you that were coaches before, please share. If you have input that you can share today, please do that, because we learned some very valuable stuff in the past. So be sure you look at the PowerPoint slides and download them so that you have access to them.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm going to ask in a minute here for some feedback from some of the coaches. But one thing that we did discover was that you need to be the role model. You need to be the one who is online. Don't have your name up on the screen when you're in the breakout rooms with the kids. You need to set the example. You don't be talking from behind an icon instead of a real person's face. So make sure that, especially when you're having a conversation with the kids, that they can see your face and you can see their face, because that's going to be really important, especially as they try to describe the issues they're running into.
That's right.
And it's like, can you show me maybe what's going on? And so I think it's first going to be really important for you to make sure that you're setting the example. You are being the role model as the coach.
Exactly.
Olivia, you got any feedback to share about, your experience and the prior camps. Did you do workshop? Yeah, you were doing workshops, right?
Yeah, for just this workshop or all of them?
All, well, this one in particular, the water, we had a little bit of a challenge, maybe more challenges with the water one than we did with some, because it's the first one we do, right?
Yeah. I think this one, it's good to have one coach kind of talking to the girls as you go, and then another doing the histogram while the other's talking, because that's very time consuming. So making sure there's not like dead space in the middle of the workshop, it can keep people engaged. And then that's mostly it. And just making sure like you facilitate the conversation instead of like calling all the shots yourself, especially when they're figuring out like what variables they want to set for this second experiment.
Good
Yeah.
point, Olivia.
Yeah, so this one is, we have a discussion, Mickey, at the end of camp last week, and we talked a little bit about this activity and said, well, would we recommend removing any content to facilitate it, make it flow better? And the final answer was no, because there are some campers who get through it very quickly and they're working on the next step. And then there are some that don't get through it, but we think that keeping all the activities that we talked about doing in are pretty important that we do that. So any other questions about this activity in particular, the water activity? For those of you who are just in Camp 2 and are coming back for Camp 3, a question had come up between Camp 1 and Camp 2. What if I used all my materials? Like, what if I already used my my Eppendorf tubes? And what if I used my coffee filters? And what if I used my disposable paper plate or my cups or whatever? Save your pipettes from the first one, save your Eppendorf tubes, wash them out really good, dry them out so that you don't have any creepy DNA in there that might interfere with your next activity. But go and find some coffee filters, use some. The coffee filters aren't that expensive. Most of the materials are very low cost materials. And so just make sure that you, like your screen, that you rinse it, you get all the soapy water off of it so that everything is very clean when you start the next time. Rinse out your mason jar. Make up new solutions if you don't have any more left for some of the activities. Lavanya, yes, you have a question.
So during the activity itself, since there's a couple of coaches, does only one person need to demonstrate, or is everyone doing the activity as a group?
Everybody's going to be doing their own thing. You're going to be in a smaller group. So we go right into breakouts right away with the very first activity. Some of the activities that we do workshops in, we wait. We don't go into breakouts right away, and somebody demos pretty much all of it before you get to go into breakouts. So in this particular case, you're going to go into breakouts right away. So one of your coaches or two of your coaches, as Olivia said, you should tag team, and you should have one person maybe reading out of the notes and instructing people what to do, and the other person demonstrating what to do using their cell phone set up like a doc cam, or using some other means of being able to physically show them what they're doing. And I know it sounds easy. It's probably not that easy, but you can, now that you have contact details for the other people in your workshop groups, you can contact them ahead of time and kind of maybe talk through who's going to do what, or you can wait until you get together the first time. And then if you're going to be together all week, hopefully by the end of the week, you'll have it down. Or by the first, you do your first session, and the second session, you figured out, okay, this is how we're going to do it in our group. I tried to make sure that I put at least one person from every group who has done this before into your breakout group. But it's possible that you may end up with a breakout all newbies. It's possible, but not likely. So I really did try and spread the wealth out a little bit without having to move too many of you from whatever group you were in before. So hopefully that worked out okay. Any other questions about the exploring water activity? You definitely want to make sure that the kids understand they need to get towels and make sure that mom knows they're going to be playing with water and that it could get messy. So those are things that when you first go into breakout, you want to make sure that it'll take time because they'll have to go get their materials, and inevitably they're not going to be ready to go. So you're going to lose a little bit of time in that. Okay, Sunday. So following the exploring water, we're going to do a DNA activity, and she pretty much works through a lot of it. But she said we go into 2 breakouts. I think we did with that. We did the first breakout to tease out whatever's going on with the strawberry or avocado or pineapple or whatever. And by the way, avocado doesn't work. So we found that out last time, but don't tell the kids. So because some of them won't have strawberries, even though we told them to make sure they had them, some of them won't. So they'll say, can I use something else? So yeah, but you want it to be squishy. I don't know how well bananas, I think, worked a little.
Some people use bananas.
Yeah, I think bananas worked fairly well. Somebody else used a tomato. I think somebody tried to use something from a tomato. So, I mean, it's possible. That's the second activity, and that one goes pretty fast too. All of them go pretty fast. Before you know it, the time is over. The evening session is social science. So we're going to be walking the girls through some of the issues related to girls, women getting involved in STEM and how to deal with it. So that's, and that is, it's like an empowerment kind of session for them. And that's also when we introduce them to the Discord server. So that'll be during the Monday night activity. Tuesday is Tech Day. And Tuesday we have Catherine, if you do want to take the stage, please.
Sure.
Let's see if
Okay.
I can find you.
I'm talking, so hopefully this
I'm
will great.
Yay.
Okay, great. So I will be there for both the workshop, the mandatory workshop in the afternoon, as well as the tour. So for the tour, the evening workshop, you don't need to do anything. You just need to become prepared and be excited. I think some of you guys have already seen it and you probably don't need to see it again, but if you haven't seen the tour, it's really fun. I think we have a really good time. The girls get really excited. So I would highly recommend you come. So the workshop is more convoluted. This is the light, waves, and plasma Oh My workshop. And so in this workshop, there's going to be 2 breakout room sections that you're going to go to. We're going to start in the main room, go to a breakout room, then go back to the main room, and then go to the breakout room, and then finish in the main room again. So there we are going to be building spectroscopes. Hopefully you have received those in the mail. And so from doing this a couple times, the different groups were pretty different. Both times we did this, of course. So I'm putting in the chat all documents that you can share with the girls. So in here we have the assembly instructions. These were sent to the girls. And then we also have a 4-minute video of making the spectroscope. This is really great. This is something that you should really watch beforehand. Look over the instructions beforehand as well. If you can, if you're kind of not sure, if you're kind of a little bit uncomfortable building the spectroscope, some people did play the video and you can stop it at certain steps. That was really fine. That worked really well. There is also coach instructions. So I'm gonna share this link. I need to ask Dr. Mimi to add the coach instruction. Well, I don't know. There's the coach instructions here as well that are not in the first one. I don't know if it would be better to have them in both. But the coach instructions are not something that I want you to share with the girls because they gave away the answer key for the second breakout room. And so the idea of the first breakout room is the coach in the rooms are going to be leading the girls and building the spectroscopes. And it's really great if you guys can help them build the spectroscopes. I know it's intimidating, but it's not really that hard. But before you come to this workshop, you need to have been prepared. Either maybe you've made the spectroscopes before and that's great and you can help again. Or if you're new to this, you should watch the video, take a look at the coach instructions and the camper instructions. There's going to be 3 of us there during this workshop. And last time we were going to some breakout rooms and some of the coaches hadn't read the instructions. So like the girls were just sitting in silence and they were like, what are we doing? So please be sure to read these, be prepared beforehand. I know it's a little bit intimidating, even if you only do know the first couple of steps, just as long as you're on top of, you're ready for the girls, that way when they're asking questions, you can be prepared to do that. So this is going to be the main activity in there. This is going to take about half an hour. Some breakout rooms get it faster than that. And if that's the case, we'll have you come back to the main area and we'll chat about their experiences doing this. Any questions about the spectroscopes?
Or any comments from any of the coaches from the last time about things to watch out for, things to, that can help you?
Sorry, I'm in breakout room 2, but that doesn't mean that I'm only doing breakout room 2 session. I'm also doing the breakout room 1 session in the coach instructions. Is that?
Yeah. So breakout room 1 and breakout room 2 has nothing to do with your breakout rooms. It's to do with the 2 different breakout rooms that will occur in this section.
Right.
So I've talked about breakout room 1 so far here.
Okay. And then also, so I should not build my materials now. I should wait until like the day of the camp to build it with the girls. Yeah.
So some people had built it before. Some people built it with the girls. I think it's great if you can build it with the girls. That way, if you're struggling and you make a silly mistake, it's much easier to show the girls like, oh, look, I can't read instructions either. So, but I would just make sure that you have all the stuff and you have kind of the idea of what you're doing beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we actually had, I don't think it was this one. Was it the fold scope that we had a camper actually build the whole thing ahead of time? And I said, and that's the disadvantage with giving them the instructions, giving them enough information to be able to do it themselves, because you don't want them to do it ahead of time. You want them to do it with you. And I did get a note today and somebody asking me about the robotics piece. Do we have to finish everything in the notebook before camp starts? I said, no. You work through the notebook during camp. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's breakout room 1. This is the main thing that you should really be focused on for this. And one thing that you want to be really excited about this, if you guys are building something, you're conducting an experiment. Last time the coaches were a little bit quiet, and I think that kind of the girls made it quiet. So it's, it's like they feed off your guys' energy. So you guys need to be strong and be excited, because if you're not, they become, a lot of people are pretty shy and introverted, so we need to bring them out of their shell as much as possible.
Yep.
And one thing that's a little bit interesting is the inspiration hour before us is maybe a little bit depressing. And so sometimes the girls are a little bit off when they start. So please try and be exciting when you come, because they were talking about like black holes in the world ending last time, and it was just like, hi. So
we do nuclear fusion. Yeah,
exactly.
I think the she's right about that. It does tend to, and the campers take it there, by the way, through the chat feature. They may be the ones we do have a speaker that talks about black holes on Tuesday, and so that kind of can set the tone a little bit for potential issues, but try and keep it light. Yeah, Heidi.
I want to say that when I was doing this, we used the instructions kind of as at a side and used the video. And I made the mistake of using your first video both in Camp 1 and Camp 2, because I pulled up the wrong video for Camp 2. But the videos were really helpful for the students. I could pause them and they were very personable. I looked at the second one. It's very personable also. You didn't do the googly eyes though in the second one, and the googly eyes were a big hit. So with the caps, do googly eyes.
Okay.
And you will have those campers a little more excited and not thinking about black holes.
Did we give them googly eyes with their kit? No,
It's in the spectroscope kit. It's
it
just the
is.
cap-
Okay.
the caps.
Oh yeah, we did the thing where we're being a dork and like, you know, we were the first video around I was showing someone and we were just having fun and it was a video for the coaches. And then in the first camp we ended up showing it and the first video was like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, we can't have them watching a video for 10 minutes. So the second video is much shorter.
4 minutes or something, 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 4.5. So it's, you know, it's very much at the steps, like whatever you guys are comfortable with. I think some people, you know, some coaches actually had, you know, a doc came out and they're like, I'm going to show you what I'm building so you can build it with me. Just, you know, make sure you have a plan going for it and of like, you don't just show up in the breakout room and you're like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because then you get, it takes a little bit of, you know, inertia to get started on this.
Yeah. Yep.
So then, yeah. So then there's this, so we'll have after this, we'll come back to the main area, we'll talk about something else, and then we'll go back to the breakout room. And then this is when the girls will actually use the spectroscopes. So and this is the breakout room 2 instructions. And so we made them a website that they can use. The idea behind this is we can send everyone different spectral tubes in the mail, you know, with different gases. And so they can we're pretending that the internet, the colors red, green, blue are like plasmas and they can learn from this. And so this is a little bit tricky if you're trying to do it now and you don't have a spectroscope built because you have to be looking at your spectroscope at the screen for this to work. And so like, you know, maybe you're trying to do this ahead of time and you're like, this makes no sense. And that's okay. You need your spectroscope to be built. So if you already have your spectroscope built, you can do this. We usually don't have as much time for this one. And this one, this girls struggle with more. So it's the instructions here, the tips are things that you can say to them. And really, I was trying to get the girls talking and helping each other to figure out how to use this. I know when I first used the website, it took me a good 10 minutes. So they're not gonna have time to complete this website. There's 6 different spectrums up top and you can also click the answers to see what it is. Now, and the answers are at the very bottom as well here so that you know what they are. But hopefully you can be prepared, you know, be familiar with the website, know how to navigate it, maybe have a few tips. This is something you can also prepare, you know, while I'm talking beforehand, or you can pick. But it just, when you're doing this, the girls are going to struggle with this, and that's okay. We want them to realize that it's hard and they're going to learn, but once they have the epiphany, you know, they'll struggle for like 5 minutes and then they'll get 1, and then like 10 seconds later they'll get all their best. So they just need to figure out how to get 1 and it goes from there. So I think that's all I have about breakout room 2, and then we'll come back to the main room and there'll be some Zoom polling that they get to do, which they always have a fun thing trying to do and figure out the answers. And it's hard for them, but they like having the interactive Zoom polling that we're doing.
Yeah. Neon. It's neon.
They are very obsessed with neon. I was like, you know, they also I think every element is neon because it's probably something they've heard before. So
Right. Why don't you share a little bit about the touring the tokamak now too?
Cool. So since the evening workshop, this is optional. So something we've been done both times before is we've been trying to encourage some of the girls who aren't registered in the afternoon workshop to come, and I think that's worked out. We've almost doubled our attendance both times. So that's something also in the breakout room that you can do as well. So for in the afternoon workshop, there'll be 3 female scientists there. In the tour workshop, there'll be 4 of us. So we have a pre-recorded tour video of our facility. There's various different parts and rooms that we talk about. And so what's there is we basically go through a room and then we take some questions, and then we watch the next video and we take some more questions. And at the end, there's a panel of 4 female scientists. We're at different stages in our career. One is a graduate student, one is a postdoc, and then 2 of us are early career scientists, and that and they always ask us so many questions, and they are really great at asking us questions both in the chat and on person. And I think usually we have to kind of just cut it off at 8:30 because we all are very tired from the day.
That is exactly what we do too. And these are, and we're fortunate because if there was only 10, 20, 30 girls in the room, there might be a lot of dead time in terms of Q&A, but because we've got several hundred girls in the room, there are always questions, and the chats probably will fly by faster than you can follow for the most part. We do, just so you know, coaches, we do tend to work the chat. So we may turn it off periodically if we think that they're getting too distracted and they're talking about stuff that has nothing to do with whatever we're discussing, or if it gets too far off topic. So we do the power of the pen, or the power of the Zoom button, the chat mute feature is awesome. Anything else?
We haven't done that in any of our workshops or the chats, because the girls were always asking us so many questions about what was going on. And
Right.
we did surveys of our own, and one of the comments we got back the first time was like, you guys need to answer our questions better in the chat. So we're now all trying to be very diligent. And, some girls are shy and they only direct message one person. So and it's also like, if for the tour in the evening, if you guys have questions, that's great, especially if the girls are not getting started. It's very helpful for you guys to ask questions if there's some dead air.
Right.
Even
Right.
if it's something you know the answer for.
Right. Seed the questions. Okay.